Now, here's Pledge.
Oh, welcome into Extra Innings with Pleasure right here on San Antonio Sports Star, 94.1 FM, sasportstar.com. I appreciate y'all for listening, however y'all may be listening, whether that's on 94.1 FM, sasportstar.com. They are AA Best Bail Bonds audio. You are watching on YouTube. All of our shows stream live on YouTube. Just search SA Sports Star. Go ahead and like, subscribe. You're able to comment along with the show, like Miguel Martinez. It's going to be a interesting day because there's a lot to get into, not much time to get into it. We'll start with the Astros and Rangers, who the Rangers walked off the Astros last night up at Globe Life Park in 10 innings. Josh Smith with a 2-run homer, taking that opener 4-3 in the 10th inning. They play again tonight here at Globe Life Park. First pitch is set for 7:05. It's a game you can catch, obviously, right here on your home for the Rangers, San Antonio Sports Star. It all starts at 6:30 right after I go off the air. The Astros are in a tough situation. They are lucky they're in a division that they are able to keep pace in because nobody is running away with that division right now. Luckily for them, because they have spun their wheels over the last few weeks. And after catching Seattle, had a good opportunity to really pull by them and put some distance between them and Seattle and also Texas at the same time. But instead, they're in a situation now where, because of the records, this division is only putting one team in the playoffs. So the Astros, who are now a game and a half back of Seattle going into tonight's game, have the Rangers now back in it, 5 games back of them, or 3.5 games back of them. They need to start putting things together offensively. I would love, as injured as that pitching staff has been, to blame this on their pitching staff, but it's actually been pretty solid. And Justin Verlander's doing a bullpen session. If it all goes well, he'll likely pitch for Sugarland in a warm-up to try and get back up onto the roster, which would help depthen that starting rotation. But they need Kyle Tucker back. They need some bats. Jake Myers has been abysmal since they caught the Mariners, hitting 170 during that time. And the loss of Loperfido being felt, they need to find a way to inject some pop into that lineup offensively. Because if they don't do something quick, Seattle may start to run away with this division. Fred Villarreal on our YouTube channel saying that the Astro offense gone dead. They have no-hit the fast 5 batters, and if it weren't for Diaz, the Stros would be in big trouble. It's a win and get in division. There is no wild card winner coming out of the AL West. So they need some help. Although, as the Astros get healthy, so do the Texas Rangers, hopefully, as they've got guys that they're eyeing to potentially make us come back. You had Max Scherzer go on the IL for a little bit. He's eligible to come off here next week. You wonder about Noah Syndergaard and if he will be able to come back in the near future for a push at the postseason to defend this World Series title. Astros, Rangers, they both have to put it in gear before Seattle, who made a lot of moves at the trade deadline to try and strengthen that lineup, both the hitting and the pitching aspect of it. They need to start putting their best efforts forward in an attempt to do that. Also today, Team USA off to the semifinals, advancing past the quarterfinals, knocking out of ease. It was 122-87. They are now moving on to the semifinals, where for the third time in this Olympic cycle over the last 4 weeks, they will face the Joker and Serbia. Serbia ends up upsetting Australia earlier today, and now they get to face they get to face the Joker for a third consecutive time, where they won 105-79 earlier in an exhibition, and that was back on July 17th. Then on July 28th, they get a 110-84 win. That was in the group phase. And now coming up, they will face them for a third time. And it's hard to be a team 3 times in a row, but it does feel like they have Serbia and the Joker's number. They hang in there early in the game, but there is too much depth in USA and not enough offensive firepower outside of just Nikola Jokic for them to keep up with USA and the points that they can put in. And, earlier today, as USA wins, we learned that Kevin Durant made some history as he becomes the all-time leading scorer in USA basketball, passing, of all people, Lisa Leslie. So, men, women, all combined, Kevin Durant is now your all-time Team US basketball leading scorer. Fred Records says, a Joker whack like his country, USA, USA. Look, that is a multi-time MVP, an NBA champion. You give him his due respect. The problem is he is alone with Team Serbia, and I don't think they have enough to really keep up with what the U.S. can do. And I told you at the top of the show, right before we went into it, about the Cowboys signings. We'll get more into the Cowboys coming up after we come back from break. But I wanted to talk on the Lauri Markkanen sweepstakes that got relatively quiet. You were hoping for a pop as we got closer to today, which is the deadline for him to sign that extension or be traded, basically, to where now it is being reported by Shams Charania and Tony Jones and others of The Athletic. He will sign that extension in Utah, which will be the largest extension in Jazz history, the largest contract ever given away in Jazz history, reportedly projected to be worth over $200 million for 5 years. But he will not sign said extension until sometime after today, meaning he cannot be moved until at the earliest next off season, if at all. And the Jazz may be looking to build around him in some way, shape, or fashion. It's just Lauri Markkanen, like Dak Prescott for the Dallas Cowboys, is good enough to keep you from being at the top of a draft. And if Lauri Markkanen, like Dak Prescott, for everybody that wants the Cowboys to tank and get a awesome draft pick to potentially take Shedeur Sanders or whatever it may be, that's not going to be the case. both Dak Prescott and Lauri Markkanen are good enough players to keep you out of the toilet bowl bottom of a conference. Now, could they potentially be picking somewhere between 8 and 13? Absolutely. But the team as constructed is good enough to compete not for a bottom position in the Western Conference. So it looks like the Spurs, unless something wild starts and there is a massive unforeseen trade or trade opportunity for the San Antonio Spurs, they're going into training camp with the roster they have. And I don't know how y'all feel about it. I feel okay about it. It is a much better team than they had last year. You have better play at the point guard position. You now have depth with Trey Jones being the guy on the second unit. You have a Harrison Barnes who is that stretch 4 or 3 that can really help to bring some floor spacing and defense to this team, as does Chris Paul. And then, of course, you've got Wemby hopefully ascending to the next level by the time next year comes around. Devin Vassell doing the same thing, taking the next step in his evolution, and hopefully Keldon Johnson embracing that role on the second unit to where he and Trey Jones and whoever they decide to make a part of that second unit can really thrive together, to where there's not as big a discrepancy when Victor Wembanyama steps off the court. And that's going to be the real test. That's where games were won and lost for the Spurs last year, is how they really handled Victor Wembanyama, either when he wasn't there due to injury or they were limiting his minutes throughout the year coming off of injury, and B, the ability to supplement now when he's off, to it not being a straight up detriment that he's not on the court to be able to help you. So just that fact, those facts alone, I believe, will lead the Spurs into being a much better team. This is Extra Innings with Pledge. How much better? That's going to be on Wemby. Wemby's greatness will basically be the catalyst to how good the Spurs can be this year. This is Extra Innings with Pledge. I'm James Pledger right here on San Antonio Sports Star, 94.1 FM, sasportstar.com. When we come back, the Dallas Cowboys made some roster moves. Ho-hum. Not a lot that can be said about them other than it is just depth at positions that they need, like linebacker and defensive tackle, as they cycle guys through here in the preseason before finalizing their roster after that final preseason game. But Dak Prescott, we've heard it. We heard it from Shareem Williams of Pro Football Talk just a few moments ago on the Blitz. Likelihood of him coming to an extension agreement with the Cowboys seeming more and more unlikely as the day goes by. And if nothing gets done, it feels like he hits free agency. And at that case, all bets are off. But if that does happen and the Cowboys do have to start over from scratch, could they be in a very, very difficult situation in terms of what you think they may want versus what somebody else may get? I'll explain coming up next right here in Extra Innings with Pledger on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
San Antonio Sports Star.
Trane Heating and Cooling Systems are tested, retested, engineered, and re-engineered to keep up with you. We run together. Visit TraneInfo.com to find your local independent Trane dealer. TraneInfo.com. It's hard to stop a train.
El Guacamole Mexican Grill on 25020 Blanco Road is now ready to serve up the cold drinks with your favorite Mexican dish. Come celebrate the grand opening of their bar this August 15th and get a free margarita only at El Guacamole Mexican Grill, 25020 Blanco Road.
When you've got real work to do, Metal Supermarkets will help you get it done fast. With a huge variety of metals in stock, we can help no matter what job comes your way. And all it takes is a few clicks. We make buying metal online easy, so you can spend less time shopping and more time getting things done. Metal Supermarkets, the convenience stores for metal. Place an order online today at metalsupermarkets.com.
O'Reilly! You've got questions? O'Reilly Auto Parts has answers. Need a pro you can trust? We've got that too. Need. Our professional parts people have the training and expertise to help you do things right. Deep automotive knowledge. Just one part that makes O'Reilly stand apart. The professional parts people.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
The Australian Pink Floyd Show. First Class Traveling Set World Tour 2024. August 22nd, Boeing Center at Techport. Tickets on sale now at livenation.com. The Australian Pink Floyd Show.
If you get arrested, get out of jail fast by calling AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121. Text bail to 474747 or online mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else. Don't be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you one, make sure you understand the conditions before accepting it. AA Best Bail Bonds. Nobody beats their price. They have payment plans. Call 210-225-2121 or mybestbailbonds.com.
License number 149. Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer whenever I want?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. 94% of Sleep Number smart sleepers report better sleep. J.D. Power ranks Sleep Number #1 in customer satisfaction with mattresses purchased in-store. And now, during our biggest sale of the year, save 50% on the Sleep Number limited edition smart bed. Limited time. For J.D. Power 2023 award information, visit jdpower.com/awards. To find a store near you, visit sleepnumber.com.
I'm at the movies, asking people if they'll switch seats with me for $574.
Here, take mine.
So what about $574 if you switch your home insurance to Allstate?
Too much work.
Not if you call them. They handle the switching.
Now that's a plot twist.
Shh. Check Allstate first, and you could save hundreds on quality home insurance today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Not available in every state. Based on the national average annual savings for new home insurance customers surveyed in 2023 who switched to Allstate and reported savings. Savings vary.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-777-1225. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-777-1225. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-777-1225. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-777-1225, 800-777-1225, or biglou.com.
Need assistance with door and window projects? The Home Depot can help. From inspiration and materials to ordering and installation, our free Millwork virtual apron service can get you moving and doing. Plus, we speak Spanish too. Our associates can help you tackle complex jobs without you leaving the job site, saving you time and money. Call us at 1-833-HD-APRON or visit homedepot.com/MBA. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
Meet Cheryl. Hey. She's on vacation and lost in the moment. Unfortunately, so is her Chase debit card.
It's got to be somewhere.
Maybe she lost it at salsa night.
These skirts should have pockets.
Or maybe she lost it at Pilates.
3 and 2 and...
But she's not worried. With the Chase mobile app, she can lock her card till it turns up. Tools that help protect. One bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
Listen to 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star on your Amazon or Google smart speaker and just say, Alexa, play 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Welcome back into Extra Innings with Pleasure right here on San Antonio Sports Star, 94.1 FM, sasportstar.com. I am James Pledger. I appreciate y'all joining me this evening as we get set for Rangers Astros Game 2 coming up Fred Recker's asking, so I guess we give up on the Laurie deal, at least now for the foreseeable future. Next off season's the soonest anything can happen right now. Once he puts pen to paper on that massive extension, which he's reportedly going to do sometime after this August 6th deadline, meaning he won't be able to be moved until next off season at the earliest, if that's the case. Vince Trevino in the chat says, "Go Raiders." I've brought up a multitude of teams that make sense for, and the Raiders have been one of those teams that makes sense for Dak Prescott as we go into next season. Another team that makes a lot of sense for Dak Prescott seemingly could be the New York Giants, and it would be a double sting against Jerry, because if he allows this to play itself out and him reach free agency, whatever people think of Dak Prescott, that is very hard to find 13 quarterbacks in this league better than him. And we'll see what happens with Caleb Williams and Jaden Daniels and Bo Nix and Michael Penix Jr. But typically all 4, 5, 6 JJ McCarthy quarterbacks don't hit. As a matter of fact, usually only about one of them hit. If you're lucky, 2 hit. So that's just the way the NFL has worked out at the quarterback position in terms of ability versus realizing actuality of one's ability. And there are very few that have turned it into sustained success. So if you allow Dak to hit the market, a quarterback hungry team like the Raiders, like possibly the Seahawks, like potentially if Matt Stafford hangs it up after this year, the Rams, the Saints, if they want to get out of Derek Carr's deal. And I say the Las Vegas Raiders, or the New York Giants, because I don't know about y'all, not a big believer in Danny Dimes. Danny Dimes would be expendable after this year due to the contract he signed and dead money and everything working out the way it would. Could the Giants, after another bad season, also say goodbye to a Brian Dable, who has not had a great time in New York, if they are followed up with another bad season under Dable? And if so, could that open the door for a package deal of somebody that you've heard speak glowingly about a Dak Prescott, for them to join forces in the division against the Cowboys and Jerry Jones? That being Bill Belichick returning home to where he started as a defensive coordinator under Bill Parcells, winning his first Super Bowl, bringing in a Dak Prescott to be his quarterback, not a rookie, after taking a year off, and Dak Prescott hitting the open market. And then the Cowboys are left in QB purgatory, because you know what it's like in QB purgatory? You have a Baker Mayfield, you have a JJ McCarthy, a Bo Nix, a Bryce Young, that maybe it inspires hope, but nobody is really feeling great about what they picked when they picked it. Or you're in a situation like Las Vegas with an O'Connell, or Denver with Stidham, Seattle with Geno Smith and Sam Howell. The best you can hope for is you find a guy like a Baker Mayfield off the scrap heap. But even then, if you have a Baker Mayfield, does anybody believe with Baker Mayfield that the Bucs are competing for a Super Bowl? The best thing for the Cowboys to do, and always has been, is to re-sign Dak Prescott on a 3-year deal probably, and plan for the future starting as soon as you sign him, like Atlanta did with Kirk Cousins. You draft a guy, develop him behind him, Therefore, when it's time for him to finally go, you can say goodbye and it won't hurt as bad. This has been Extra Innings with Pledger. I am James Pledger right here on San Antonio Sports Star, 941 FM, sasportstar.com. We're taking you into Rangers Astros Game 2 coming up from Globe Life Field next, right here on your home for Texas Rangers baseball, San Antonio Sports Star, 941 FM, and sasportstar.com.
With T-Mobile, you can get tons of benefits and still save on every plan versus AT&T and Verizon. Because nobody likes having to choose. It's like getting wrong.
Jane, I love you. Also, I'm a robot.